is the City Whisperer, and I'm going to help you fall asleep by using the white noise of the city that never sleeps. So cozy up, close your eyes. Let's get started. Today, you and I will be quietly exploring New York City's new Moynihan train hall at Penn Station. The video is going to start on West 31st Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, and I'm going to head west on 31st Street towards 8th Avenue. Are you still awake? It's January 2nd, 2021 at about 7:15 p.m. I'm walking down West 31st Street towards 8th Avenue. And as I'm doing so, I'm walking by Old Penn Station and Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden is the building to my right with the orange beams, and Old Penn Station is underneath it. I'm calling it Old Penn Station because they have recently built a new Moynihan train hall across the street. Old Penn Station used to be really, really beautiful until they raised it to make room for Madison Square Garden. Some said that it was as beautiful as Grand Central Station, but since they put up Madison Square Garden, Old Penn Station has just gotten really ugly and depressing. I lovingly call it the armpit of New York. I'm walking, and you're getting sleepy. There it is, folks, the new Moynihan train hall. According to this sign, the new Moynihan train hall is only for Amtrak service. So Old Penn Station will only have the New York City subway, which will be the 1, 2, 3, A, C, and E trains, the PATH train to New Jersey, and the Long Island Railroad. You can see that the new train hall puts on quite a light show for tourists and locals alike. Here's Kevin Hart in an ad for Chase Bank. Good for him. To my right, we have a halal cart. And here is New York Pizza Suprema, which Michael Scott's evil twin would say had the best slice in New York. It's a pretty mild night for January, and you can see that almost everyone is wearing a mask as the COVID-19 virus is still raging through the United States. It's trash night on this block, but one could make the same argument of it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but say that it's always trash night somewhere in New York City. To my left, we have a lovely sculpture. And now, the light show that the Moynihan train hall is putting on is very nice. Lots of bright and vibrant colors. This building is used as a post office, and the steps always remind me of the steps in Rocky. I've spent many a night like these people, just sitting on these steps, people watching, enjoying ice cream in the summer, reading a book, or hanging out with friends. Look at this person taking pictures of pigeons. How basic. I'm going inside because I want to show you the post office, and I'm curious if there's an entrance into the new train hall through the post office. It's really quite beautiful in here, but you can't tell because all of the scaffolding. You can kind of get an idea of the architecture. These really cool P.O. boxes. I didn't want to stay too long because I didn't think that the people inside would be super great with me filming their post office goings on. And I discovered that there is no way to get into the train station from here. So I decided to leave. Unfortunately, there is often a lot of litter in New York, and tonight was no exception. So here we are, an entrance. It says 2 trains, and my head always wants to change that to 2 chains. Are you still awake?
So get on downstairs.
Oh, yeah, I do the tracks. Oh, you can't buy the tracks?
We don't do the tracks, but we do the platform.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm-
need the garbage for the platform.
Okay.
And that whole side.
One of my favorite things about the city is hearing other people's conversations as you just move about in the city. Sometimes they're out of context and it's quite humorous. Sometimes you learn something. Some advice for when you're visiting the city is to look up. Sometimes if you don't look up, you'll miss beautiful architecture or an interesting scene in a window above.
This is taking that long check. As far as we're looking at the things that are all in the center, all the people in there, the one of those people, and this is
Well, great. The announcements in the new train station are just as unintelligible as the announcements in the old one. This clock, I think, is an homage to the clock in Grand Central Station. So I showed you the exterior and the post office, and before this was here, this was actually a courtyard in the middle of the post office. And so they decided to add a ceiling to it, this beautiful glass ceiling that you've been seeing, and make it into a train hall. I think that's pretty neat, don't you? I thought it would be cool to get the perspective of being directly under the clock and looking up, but I've seen too many Final Destination movies to not be afraid that it was gonna fall on me, so I moved before I could get the shot for you. I'm sorry. New York's finest. Pfft, more like a cab, am I right? Let's go check out what's over here. It says it's the ticketed waiting room. Then you've got some colorful boards with the arrivals and departures on them. So you can only go into this little waiting area if you have a
Saturday, 6:45, take orders up back 17. All board traffic 17.
E pluribus unum, out of many, one. I did a little bit of yoga to get you that view right there. You're welcome. Daniel Patrick Moynihan Drino. That is the name of this place. And I'm walking, and your limbs are getting heavier and heavier, and your belly feels as if you've eaten a delicious meal, nice and full. So this train station officially opened to the general public on January 1st, 2021. But a few days before that, they had a tour that was for VIPs and government people. And there's a Starbucks around this corner, which we're probably there right now. And they just had Starbucks staff members stand in the Starbucks so that the people getting the door would really get a sense of what it would be like when it was open. Isn't that funny? Try counting my footfalls on the steps like you would count sheep. It might help you get more tired and eventually fall asleep. Here's a view from the second story of the Moynihan Train Hall. And I'm walking, and your eyelids are so heavy right now. The Sandman came and threw so much sand in your eyeballs, and you're trying so hard to stay awake, but it's not working. You are almost there. You're almost to that sweet spot that feels like ocean waves, where you're falling deeper and deeper and deeper into sleep. And over here will eventually be an indoor swimming pool. I'm just kidding, it just looks like a covered pool to me. Great use of some Talking Head lyrics, Hansel. So this sign says that the food hall is going to open in the fall of 2021. But I'm gonna joke and say that because of COVID, it will be more like fall of 2022. I did, however, find out that the bathrooms are open locals alike to find a bathroom when they're out and about during COVID. So the ones in the Moynihan Drain Hall are open and you're able to use them. This is the entrance on 31st and 8th Avenue. And this beautiful art installation is a bunch of skyscrapers hanging upside down from the ceiling. If you pay attention, you will have just seen me wave at you. I really loved this. I loved the dark and the light together, the beautiful contrast, and the 3D-ness of it all. Underneath these skyscrapers on the wall was a time-lapse video of them building the drain hall in that courtyard, and it was really neat and kind of soothing to just stand there and watch it. It was quite an undertaking, I'm sure. It took a long time. It was a lot of work and it cost a lot of money. In the end, was it worth it? Who can really say? I'm leaning towards yes. The Tina Belcher in me thinks that this looks like a butt. Yep, definitely a butt.
This is the last stop for Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 168 on route to Boston, intermediate stops. Passengers should proceed to track 5. From Harmon, Poughkeepsie, Rhinecliff, Hudson. Passengers should proceed to track 6.
This is the first class lounge that was open to the public from opening day January 1st until January 4th, which was Monday, the following Monday. So because I went on the 2nd, I was able to explore this first class lounge. But after January 4th, it will be closed to the general public and only accessible if you have a first class Amtrak ticket. It was beautiful in here, lots of places to sit. These chairs were velvet, so soft. These chairs are leather. They have leather booths. What a great view to see while you're waiting for your train, reading a book, having a think, taking a nap. Speaking of naps, are you tired yet? Anyway, I think this is Stanley Tucci. Is that Stanley Tucci? He could be Stanley Tucci. Comment below and let me know what you think. So shiny and new. There was a houseless person sitting in one of these beautiful golden wingback chairs. I totally get it. He was taking advantage of it while he could. This carpet was super plush and my foot sank into it as soon as I stepped on it. Much like you sink into your bed the minute you lie down in it. there's these fancy little lockers. And this one, you can hang your fur coat on that rack. And these, you can put things in like your jewelry. I put my phone in one of the lockers so it might know what it is like to be a rich person's earring or lapdog. Or whatever the heck else you put in a locker if you're Beyonce. And you better believe that I wouldn't miss a chance to go into this bathroom and explore it. The first thing I noticed was how much more peaceful it is in there than in the rest of the station. They even had that little painting room or mother's lounge off to the side. And the wallpaper was really shiny.
Yep.
The stalls went all the way down to the floor, which is great for privacy and also for nobody being able to see your shoes if you make a stink in there. And then I wanted to see if the stalls went all the way to the floor on the inside. And the answer to that question is they do, but not in the handicapped stall. So you can only ask to spare a square if you're in the handicapped stall or the one right next to it. Yes, I did use the first class lounge bathroom, and my review of it is as follows. The stalls were very narrow, so it was hard to maneuver. I mean, it's winter time, so I had a jacket and I had a backpack to kind of grapple with. The toilet paper was good quality. It didn't fall apart and it didn't get too wet. The stall went all the way down to the floor, so that was great because nobody really knew that I was in there, and I kind of like that. It's peaceful. And then it had that cool little mother's lounge where women could nurse or people could just have a little moment of privacy, which I thought was cool. The toilet had a nice flush. It didn't splash everywhere. It was more like an airline toilet where air sucks it down and nothing goes up. So that was nice. So I would give that bathroom 9 out of 10 toilet paper rolls. But because it's closed to the public now, I'll probably never be able to use that bathroom again unless I get a first class ticket. I might use my stimmy to get a first class ticket. We'll see. At the 33rd Street entrance, there's some more art on the ceilings. And this art features black people and people of color. I was really glad to see that. But I was a little bit upset to see that it also features pigeons. I really hate pigeons, and I thought that that was unnecessary. Weird mock-ups of what something is going to look like when it's complete. I always look at the AI-generated faces to see if there is anyone that looks like anyone that I know. And they always look kind of like someone that you know or have seen before. like a famous person or something, but not quite. Some of them are kind of hot, some of them not so much.
Please be advised that a checked baggage is available for your train. It is recommended you take your bags to Amtrak's baggage department. Each passenger is allowed to check up to 2 pieces of luggage not to exceed 50 pounds each. Amtrak's carry-on baggage policy allows 2 bags per
Like
passenger
these
not to
people
exceed
could
50
be
pounds
Joe
each.
Biden and Kamala
Baggage exceeding
Harris.
this limit will not be accepted on
And then
board
this
Amtrak
girl
trains.
shopping behind the redhead could be Elizabeth Smart. But you probably already figured out that I'm not great with faces and recognizing people from the Stanley Tucci incident in the first class lounge. So that was it, folks. That was the Moynihan train hall at Penn Station. And I have left the building and I am now walking back down 31st Street. This time between 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue. I just passed Toro College and I'm heading east on 31st Street. I'm just retracing the same steps that I took to get here. If you're not asleep yet and you're still listening and or watching, I just want to say I think you're really great. And I really hope that you achieve multiple cycles of REM. So, like I mentioned, as you continue to fall asleep, I'm going to continue to walk east on 31st Street. I'm heading towards the train because I want to go home and get some sleep myself. Once I get to 6th Avenue, I'm gonna hang a left and then show you some of the sights on 6th Avenue. But before that, here's a little bit more of 31st and 8th. There's a green screen or something that you could use as a green screen if you're on a budget. I bet it would work.
No te preocupes, estamos bien.
I really hope that car horn earlier didn't wake you or take you out of your REM cycle. But as promised, I'm gonna turn left on 6th Avenue, show you some of the things that I see on 6th Avenue, like Manhattan Mall, and then I'm eventually going to hop on the train at Greeley Square Park, which is the little white U shape by the green circle. So here's one